All right, guys, we're live in my new studio, but we're recording in another room. Now, I wanted the backdrop of the light, so here we go. We're going to talk about how keto has made me younger over time. So, it's kind of cool. Now, how that's done, as you guys are coming into the chat, but how that is done is to protect your body from advanced glycation end products. So essentially, when you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, well, they sort of damage the protein lining of the cell. So a cell does many different actions. But slowly over time, as you age, slowly as you age over time, those cells don't function properly. And you start to see people looking tired. You see people starting to have estrogen dominance. Now that's men and women, or women and men, actually, because we don't actually think of men being estrogen dominant, but they can be, and it's a friggin' hot mess. So with that said, what you want to do is protect your DNA from it's long, and we don't want it to shorten, because when it starts shortening, you're tired, you're moody, you're cranky, you start to have crepey skin, and hormones start to go out of sync, and we want to keep them in sync. So, how is this achieved? A lot of people are wondering why I am talking so much about carnivore. I am not a carnivorist, carnist, but I'm riding that line. So I'm carnivore now, and that is to just do my own experiment, because what better way to talk about something but to experience it yourself instead of just using people who've got worse autoimmunity or gut issues than I have. So I'm going to do this myself. Now, with that said, H-Town, what I want you guys to consider is how this is done, right? So you guys know I've done this for almost 12 years. I'm almost 52. I haven't refed once in all of these years, not one time. And it's because I really want to do that deep dive and see what are the benefits of being ketotic for so long and what are the pitfalls. Now, I've said this before, the pitfalls are the electrolyte issue. So you have to, excuse me for my plastic BPA friggin' estrogenic bottle. These are the worst. But I had to pick up some water on the way over here. But your electrolytes, getting enough water in is like critical. And because when you eat carbs, you hold on to water. So you drop a lot of water via the kidneys, and this can mess with your electrolyte balance. And of course, the foods that we're eating just don't have enough of the minerals that we need to keep our electrolytes in balance. So yes, Celtic salt. Should I do one of these little rocks? Get some rocks, some minerals. No, I'm kidding. What you guys want to do is you want to get enough. Now, there is real salt, which is a Himalayan salt. You really want to look for the quality of salts that you guys are consuming to make sure that you get a little bit more of your minerals in your diet besides organ meat. I'll take your questions in a second. I can't really see them right now. So at this point, don't just spat. I just spat. Don't forget to like up the stream. So to do that, you hit the X and you collapse and you go hit the thumbs up, and then you hit the chat icon to re-enter the chat, because that helps bring people to my channel. With that said, as I take some water, one thing I do when I talk in these live streams is I don't drink enough water, and I don't think other people do, because you burp and because you're gulping and you're trying to talk really fast. So let's go more into the deep dive of this stuff. So magnesium deficiency is the biggest problem. I used to think it was potassium, but I'm starting to realize with working with so many people over the years, thousands now, you guys know I've been consulting and doing consultations, and now I have a course page. And I've just been, and I did a 30-day challenge, and with that, there's like thousands of people that you work with at once. So you learn so much. And magnesium deficiency is really the biggest common problem. Not just, potassium. Now, some people have a really difficult time with the potassium reserves, and that's most likely due to leaky gut. A lot of you guys have too low stomach acid. You think it's high because you're burping or have like a GERD or like acid reflux, and you're like, oh, I've got too much acid, so I'll take some proton pumps and some acid reducing pills, and that just exacerbates the problem, makes your leaky gut and your low stomach acid 10 times worse. So when you're having leaky gut, it's not easy to cure. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes like a year. It takes a long time to heal the gut wall, because you might have to heal the upper GI tract and the lower GI tract and the stomach. So you're like, boom, boom, boom. Like this whole area has to get fixed. So people who are doing like organ meats and they're still B12 deficient or potassium deficient, so you really have to look at the high quality of foods. Now you should obviously go towards the red meats and the organ meats for your B complex, especially the liver. But with that said, the minerals are really important. Your electrolytes are so important. So people get headaches, they get muscle cramps, heart palpitations from not drinking enough water, not having the right kind of sodium. Now, one thing you guys don't understand is that if your sodium quality is off, that means that you can be dehydrated drinking a ton of water, right? There's not enough sodium in the blood, so you're not hydrated, because the salts that you're using are some crappy salts. And I'm learning more about this when trying to stay ketotic for the rest of my life, right? You got to be on those electrolytes. Yes, you guys. Deborah is reminding you, my lovely mod, to like up the stream. So don't forget to like up the stream, and to hit and collapse and hit the thumbs in the chat and all that. So with that said, that's what I noticed that goes on with myself. So my potassium is good. And when I go from keto, right, when I go from eating plants to the experiment of doing carnivore, do heart palpitations begin to come up, right? Benign heart palps, not at all. So my potassium is freaking awesome. So it's all about the magnesium glycinate. More commonly, some people react poorly to, it's very rare, but glycinate is an easier way to get it's a more absorbable type of magnesium. Some people do better with malate, but glycinate is the one that you want to go towards. So I had a consultation this morning with a man who's like, well, I don't like magnesium because it makes me have loose stool. And I said, well, what kind of, are you taking glycinate? And he was like, yeah, I think so. And I said, well, go get it. So he goes and pulls out the little, like the tennis, looks like a tennis can of Calm, which is a magnesium citrate. So you guys just don't run off to Whole Foods. If you're already having loose stool, if you're already having a bowel issue and you're running off and you're getting magnesium citrate, that's just going to make you have Hershey squirts, straight up water coming out the bung. And then those who have constipation and thyroid issues, please take magnesium citrate and glycinate, right? You want to take both at night. So if you're having constipation, so you can produce a stool in the morning. That's the reason why you take it at night. Otherwise, if you take it in the morning, you might produce a stool in the afternoon. Like when you got to be somewhere. Okay, let's see. Thank you. Is it Bankers Music? Thank you. So how do you get potassium? So I don't like potassium chloride. It can be a little hard on the kidneys. I don't like potassium supplements, so that's a no. All right. You can't, that's why they go up to 99 milligrams, because it's so tough, so hard on the kidneys that they don't go over. Now, people are saying that you need 4,200 something milligrams of potassium. And I'm realizing now, thank you to the carnivore community and the keto community, or the keto carnivore, that's all the same, okay? Except one sort of edge of keto, you're eating plants, and one you're not, but it's all still keto. People keep saying, oh, I thought you were keto stuff. I didn't know you were doing carnivore. And I was like, no, there's only keto carnivore. There's no carnivore. It's just keto carnivore. That's it. That's the way you do this over time. And so what you'll realize is like the thing that I like about myself is that I'm in my 50s, right? So I'm in my 50s. I'm getting older. So I'm not in my 20s, right? I'm not like, oh, I'm 32 and I'm really, really fit and I've got the business and all this kind of stuff. And, I've never had a severe injury. Now, you guys know I've had a lot of injuries, but the worst one was to my knee, where I literally broke everything. And the knee joint was hanging like this, because I used to be a professional skateboarder. So it was literally like, you go like this to my knee joint, it would flop around, because I snapped everything in the knee joint. So I can't just go run, right? I can't squat, I can't lunge, I can't sit there and freaking do deadlifts. I can't. It makes my knee hurt really, 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 really bad. So the thing that's amazing is like doing a keto protocol and being able to heal that knee, or take the inflammation, not heal it, but take the inflammation down. And because this is the bad knee, so I would tend to lean on, what's up, Jessica? I would lean on the good hip. So I did this, I'm almost 52, and I did this to my knee when I turned 25 to 26, when I did on my birthday. That's how I always remember. It was my 26th birthday that I destroyed my leg. So you imagine leaning like this for, 26 years, right? It's not pretty. This it began to wear down, right? So I have now inflammation, and I have arthritis in my right hip, but I took it down with keto. Like at the age of 39, my hip was starting to hurt me so bad. It was hurting me so bad. I was getting really nervous because it's like, okay, the left side hurts and now the right side hurts. How am I going to even stand? That's how bad it was. So we want to be ketotic, and we want to have a healthy hormones, and we want to have balanced electrolytes. We also want to have everything on the right side function properly, plus the adrenals, plus the kidneys. Thank you so much, Greg. I love Greg. I just did a consultation with Greg the other day. He's such a wonderful person. Greg is the kind of person, he's like the best client and probably best friend. I've never met him personally that you could ever have, because he listens, right? Greg's story is quite interesting in this whole thing, because he tried keto. He did a consultation with me a couple years ago, and then I never heard from him again. Like a couple years passed, and like, who knows what happened? But in those couple of years, his like weight shot up. He's feeling like all these crazy things started happening with his body. And he started thinking, and he went off keto, and he thought, I think I need to contact Steph and then start again and try again. So this time he didn't want to go the deep dive right into keto, which is why I'm doing low carb, high fat. I've added this to my menu of stuff that I coach people with, which is not ketotic, right? So with Greg, we have him on higher carb, right? And then now we're taking him down to almost no carbs. So he's eating white rice because the bleach, the arsenic and the anti-nutrients have been bleached out. So he's only using it for a starch, for a little bit of glycogen storage, nothing else. But anyway, love Greg. Thank you so much for donating. I gotta see what he said. Let me see here. Hey, sup, Steph? Gotta go, but I'll hit you up later. Bye. And now he's doing handstands, because y'all know I love my handstands. Love, love, love. So here we go. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see here. I'm not 100% sure, but open-minded and maybe every day would metabolize equally fats, carbs, and proteins. I am experimenting and listening to my body and investigating the book. So that's what you guys have to do. You actually have to do a lot of experimentation, because it's not that we're so different as humans. It's just that our lifestyle and our level of damage is so different. So just remember that, you guys. Everybody can keto adapt, but if you have so much damage and you are working night jobs and stress and you can't get your gut under control because you're too busy to deal with the body, then keto, like maybe low carb, high fat, which is you're still glucose dependent, might be for you. Let me see. The metabolic typing diet with William Scott, humans are genetically different. I'm not saying that you're not right, Stephanie, but simply I want to say that probably what. So essentially, Jose, everybody has their opinion, and they are just opinions, right? Because we didn't get into a time machine and go off into, the past. So I don't really care what he says. I care, but I care, let me see. I don't care that you mention him. I would have to go read his book. But we are very similar. We're very similar to an ape. So you have to look at things in another context, right? Through humans, because it's so ironic, because right before I read that comment, I just said, we are very similar. We're very, very similar with small deviations between us, depending on how much damage we have. Now, if we had good solid guts and we were eating whole foods and we were still hunter-gatherers, you could see that even though we come from different parts of the world, or we have migrated to different parts of the world, and our DNA has changed slightly with loss of melanin and things of this nature, we're still very, very similar. We don't have fur in our body. We should be closer to the equator. We're not supposed to be living in cold, freaking temperatures, like naked. And food grows in season. So if you can't get your plants those 10 weeks out of a year, because things grow in the summer, springtime, or spring, summer. That's when they grow. Well, okay, so what are we eating, right? We're not from tropical climates, right? We went from Africa up north to Central Asia and to the Middle East, and island jumped our way over. So, and that's over time, but as hunter-gatherers, we follow what we can eat. Definitely, we're omnivores. We eat what's in season. We fish, we can take lakes with catfish, and we can hunt, we can eat ants, we can eat bugs, we can eat roots and all these types of things. But the problem is that, and of course we can break down starch and sugars. We have amylase in our saliva. The problem is, let's see what we got here. There's no diet that works for everyone at the moment. Yes, there is, Jose. You're tripping. Like, you can't. It doesn't matter. You can write in caps. It doesn't matter. The point is, there is not a diet that works for everyone, depending on if you have autoimmunity, if you have allergies, but not with your DNA. With your DNA, we can eat almost the same thing, all of us, if we don't have the damage. So I think you're making comments like this, and we're not having a conversation, so everything gets disjointed from what you write to the way I interpret it and all this kind of stuff. So forgive me if I'm not interpreting what you're saying correctly, but we're limited here on my cell phone with the screen that big. So you guys got to realize, yes, we all can be ketotic, except for, let's say, I think the Eskimos didn't produce enough ketones. People who've got gallbladder issues, people who've got digestive issues, people have colostomy bags, people who've got issues with their health cannot follow necessarily a strict particular diet. And you'd have to experiment to what they could actually digest. But if you don't have any type of, disease or any type of rare genetic disorders, and you're just your standard human with a, standard gut, yes, you can. If you have all your organs, if you still have your gallbladder, if you still have enough caloric acid in your stomach, you still have enough enzymes and peptides to break food down, yes, we could all be ketotic. Yes, we can. And the thing is that people will say, well, you can't do keto for the long term. Well, nobody has. So they're guessing. And that's what I've learned a lot by these PhDs. They guess a lot of stuff because they don't know. So you actually have to take real people. And now the time is going by, and I started a long time ago, I haven't refed. And there are some people that are like right after me that have been doing it for a long time, and they're thriving with no problems. So it's all contextual. That's the thing. Let's see here. Do you ever listen to Ron Roselle thoughts? I have a long time ago. If you have a lot of damage to your hair, you may see the gains that are happening with keto. So if you have a lot of damage, that it can take time. So damage would be, that's common damage that you guys do is you have adrenal insufficiencies, like your cortisol might be a little low, or it might invert, so it might be high at night. The things that you guys might see is inflammation, like, the common things like, look, let's do the list, right? People have sciatica, like, the sciatic nerve is irritated. They've got upper and lower back pain. People have like carpal tunnel from sitting at computers. People have knee pain from sitting, or an injury from a long time ago. People have things like frozen shoulder. I see that a lot at the gym. People have digestive issues. They either have too low stomach acid. Like, I talked to a woman today. She's like, I'm just not good with red meat. And I'm like, you probably have low stomach acid. She has a super stressful life, and she's in her 40s, almost 50. So I'm like trying to explain to her, like, she's just eating a bunch of chicken breasts. And I'm like, there's no nutrition in that. So the nutrition comes in the fat. The darker the meat, the richer the darker the meat, the richer the fruit, or not fruit, but like the more nutrition that's in it. And so you think about things like, people who have digestive issues, they've got Crohn's, they've got diverticulitis, they've got ulcers, they've got leaky gut, they've got holes in the gut wall, they've got the microvilli broken down, people have skin issues, People have hormonal issues, reproductive hormonal issues, thyroid issues. People have, some people have liver issues, a poor functioning liver from alcohol, from too much fructose in the diet. So they have like poor functioning liver, which is a really big problem with people doing keto. Not that the fat is making their liver fatty, it's just it's burdening the liver to have to work hard, because the liver does so many things. So you really, really want to focus on like really, trying to, if you can tolerate milk thistle, or rotating your foods and getting your stress down so that liver can heal, then when you're trying to be ketotic, you don't have to, and clearing out that friggin' estrogen, because that estrogen just does a wreck to the whole biliary system and really slows down the functioning of that liver when you have estrogen dominance. And I think I said in my last live stream, it's men and women that are having high estradiol. It's like they're finding men with almost the same amount of estrogen, estradiol that women have. It's crazy that this plastic filled with estrogen, xenoestrogens, is really, really aromatizing men these days, creating gynecomastia, low sex drive, depression. It's insane, and a poor functioning liver. So if you have a lot of, do you need studies to keto? Do you recommend his DAO supplements? So a really good DAO supplement is just desiccated liver, or just liver itself. Perfect. Let's see here. I have digestive problems, Leobacter, you have H. pylori, stomach is bloated always probably. So there's different ways to deal with H. pylori, which is like mastic gum people use, or they use that tea, what's it called? Medulla, something like that. Then it would be to literally get your stress down, because your body can't deal with pathogens and bacteria unless the stress is really, really low. So, let's see here. Okay, guys, I actually wanted to just do a quick stream in my studio. It's time for me to go. This was just a quickie, and I'm, normally I go an hour and a half, and I'm like constantly reading comments, and I'm not really getting to my point, which I will still do, and I'm still live stream from my place. And right now I am talking to my guy who does everything. He helps me with everything. So I'm so lucky to have him. And he just walked in the room. He's trying to be as quiet as possible. Anyway, thank you guys for joining this live stream. We're testing the quality of the Wi-Fi in the building. This is not the set. This is not permanent right now. We'll change to other stuff. And now I've got to go. Thank you everyone for joining this chat. Thank you, Deborah, for moderating. I see that you've already deleted some troll comments. And yeah, I'm out. Don't forget, if you guys want a consultation, go to stephanieperson.com. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook, which is all free content, is Stephanie the Business, as in the business person. Or there's my course, which I do low carb, high fat, keto omnivore with plants, and keto carnivore. And that's at stephanieperson.com. Bye, guys. Now I gotta go and enjoy the day.